Most people wake up tired, even after sleeping. Not because their body is weak, but because their mind never truly rests. They work all day, stay busy, answer messages, attend classes, meetings, notifications. Yet at night, one silent thought appears. I did so much today, but why do I feel like nothing important moved forward? Somewhere between scrolling, replying, multitasking, and rushing, we lost something powerful: the ability to focus. And without realizing it, we entered a world where the people who can focus deeply will quietly control the future, while everyone else stays distracted, replaceable, and exhausted. This is not a productivity trick. This is a survival skill. This is the story of deep work. Welcome to Book Nexus Hub. Here, we don't rush books. We sit with them, like a conversation that slowly changes how you see your life. Take a breath, and let's begin. Cal Newport doesn't begin this book by calling people lazy, because that's not the problem. He begins with something more honest: confusion. Students who study all day but don't remember what they learned. Professionals who work longer hours every year yet feel less satisfied. People who are always on but never truly present. Everyone feels busy. Almost no one feels proud of their work. This isn't because people stopped caring. It's because the nature of work itself changed. Quietly, we entered an age where attention became fragmented. Think about a normal day. You sit down to study, but your phone is beside you. A notification lights up. You ignore it, for now. 5 minutes later, curiosity wins. You check it quickly. Just one message, then another. Then a thought appears. Since I already checked, let me scroll a bit. Suddenly, 30 minutes are gone. You return to work, but your mind doesn't return with you. It stays scattered. This happens again, and again, and again. Cal Newport explains something uncomfortable here. It's not that we choose distraction anymore. Our environment is designed for it. Most of what fills our days is what Cal Newport calls shallow work. Emails, meetings, quick replies, status updates. Small tasks that make us look busy. Shallow work feels productive because it gives instant feedback. You reply, done. You attend, done. You submit, done. But shallow work rarely creates real value. It doesn't build skill. It doesn't build mastery. It doesn't move your life forward in meaningful ways. And slowly, as shallow work grows, deep work disappears. Deep work is not about working harder. It's about working with full attention. Deep work is when you focus, without distraction, on something that stretches your mind. The kind of work where time feels strange. Hours pass, but it feels like minutes. This is how students truly understand subjects. Professionals become rare and valuable. Creators produce work that lasts. Careers, chairs quietly rise. Deep work doesn't shout. It doesn't announce itself. It works in silence. And that silence is exactly why most people avoid it. Cal Newport points out something important. Our brains adapt to how we use them. If you train your brain on distraction, it becomes good at distraction. If you constantly switch attention, focus starts to feel painful. This is why many people say, I can't concentrate anymore. My mind feels restless. I need background noise. It's not weakness, it's conditioning. The modern world trained us away from depth. Here is where the book becomes serious. Cal Newport explains that the modern economy rewards only two types of people: those who can work deeply with complex things and those who can learn hard skills quickly. Both require deep work. You cannot master anything meaningful in fragments. You cannot build a strong career on shallow attention. This applies to students preparing for competitive futures, professionals trying to stand out, anyone afraid of becoming replaceable. Focus is no longer optional. It is leverage. Deep work is becoming rare, and anything rare in a competitive world becomes extremely valuable. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need connections. You don't need luck. You need depth. While others scatter their attention, you protect yours. While others chase noise, you choose silence. This difference compounds slowly, then suddenly. Before we go further, pause with this thought. When was the last time you worked deeply for even 1 full hour? No phone, no notifications, no interruptions. If the answer feels uncomfortable, that discomfort is the doorway to growth. We often think distraction is a personal failure, like something is wrong with our discipline. Cal Newport asks us to look deeper. What if distraction isn't your weakness, but the system you live inside? Schools reward speed, not depth. Finish fast, move on, cover more syllabus. Offices reward visibility, not value. Reply quickly, stay available, attend everything. Social platforms reward reaction, not reflection. Likes, comments, notifications, endless updates. Slow thinking has no applause. Deep work doesn't show instant results, so it feels risky in a world addicted to immediacy. And slowly, we start believing a dangerous lie. If I look busy, I must be productive. Multitasking sounds intelligent. It sounds efficient. But Cal Newport explains something uncomfortable. The human brain does not multitask. It switches. Every switch has a cost. Focus breaks. Thinking resets. Depth disappears. Even after returning to a task, your brain carries residue from the previous one. This is why studying feels exhausting. Work feels scattered. Progress feels slow. You're not tired from working deeply. You're tired from switching constantly. Somewhere along the way, busyness became identity. People say, "I'm slammed. I barely have time. My schedule is crazy." It sounds important. It sounds valuable. But Cal Newport asks a sharp question. If busyness is the measure of success, where is the proof of meaningful output? Deep work produces things you can point to: skills, ideas, results. Busyness produces motion without direction. Deep work removes excuses. When you work deeply, you can't blame interruptions. You can't blame notifications. You can't blame lack of time. You face your limits directly. This is why people unconsciously avoid depth, because depth demands honesty. It shows you what you know, what you don't, where you are truly weak. But it also shows you something powerful, that you can improve. For students, Deep work is a secret weapon. Most students study with partial attention. Notes open, phone nearby, music playing, tabs switching. Hours pass. Retention stays low. A student who can focus deeply for even 2 hours a day will outperform someone who studies 6 distracted hours. Not because of intelligence, but because of quality of attention. Deep work turns learning into understanding, not memorization. For professionals, the stakes are higher. Automation is rising. Competition is global. Attention is cheap. The people who survive and grow are not the busiest. They are the most skilled. Skills require deep work. You can't master coding, analysis, writing, strategy, leadership in fragments. Deep work makes you rare, and rare people have leverage. Cal Newport highlights something subtle. Constant connection feels safe. You feel updated, included, responsive. But it steals solitude. And without solitude, your mind never fully processes thoughts. Ideas stay shallow. Decisions stay reactive. Life feels rushed. Deep work is not just about productivity. It's about mental clarity. This is where the book becomes human. Deep work isn't only about career growth, it's about satisfaction. When you work deeply, you feel pride. You feel ownership. You feel grounded. Your work becomes part of your identity, not just a way to earn money. Shallow work leaves you empty. Deep work leaves you fulfilled. Cal Newport doesn't ask you to quit your job or escape society. He asks for a shift, to stop treating focus as something optional and start treating it as something sacred. Your attention is your life. Where you place it, that's what your future becomes. Ask yourself this. If your life continues exactly like this, same distractions, same habits, where will you be in 5 years? Now imagine something else. Imagine protecting your focus daily, even a little. That small shift changes everything.
Deep work doesn't look the same for everyone. Cal Newport makes this clear. What matters is not copying someone else's routine, but building a relationship with depth that fits your life. Through history, people who produced extraordinary work did not rely on motivation. They relied on structure. Cal Newport identifies 4 natural styles through which deep work can exist. Not rules, not pressure, but rhythms. Some people eliminate almost all shallow obligations. They protect depth fiercely. No constant emails, no random meetings, no interruptions. This approach works best for those whose work demands long, uninterrupted thinking. Writers, researchers, thinkers. It's not practical for everyone, but it shows something important. Depth thrives where boundaries are clear. Many people live 2 lives. One part of their time is completely deep. The other part handles everything else. Days or weeks are blocked only for focus. The rest is for meetings, communication, logistics. When depth has a dedicated space, it stops competing with noise. It stops being fragile. This is the most realistic path for most people. Depth becomes a daily habit, not heroic, not exhausting. Same time, same place, every day. Even 1 or 2 hours of deep work daily compounds into massive results. This approach proves something important. You don't need perfect conditions. You need consistency. Some people enter deep work whenever time appears, between obligations, amid chaos. This requires experience and discipline. It's not for beginners. But it shows that depth is a skill, not a luxury. The point is not choosing a style. The point is choosing depth deliberately. If depth is optional, it disappears. If it's planned, it survives. Deep work doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. Cal Newport talks about rituals, not as rules, but as relief. When you decide where you'll work, when you'll work, how long you'll work, your brain stops negotiating. Willpower is not wasted. Focus flows. Rituals protect energy. Most people blame themselves for distraction, but environment matters more than intention. A phone in sight reduces focus. Notifications pull attention even when ignored. Open tabs invite mental switching. Deep work needs a low-friction environment. Not fancy, not perfect. Just quiet enough for your mind to settle. This part surprises many people. Cal Newport says boredom is not something to escape. It's something to retrain yourself to tolerate. When you instantly reach for stimulation, your brain never learns patience. Deep work requires staying with discomfort, with slow moments, with silence. Boredom is the training ground for focus. Focus isn't built only while working. How you spend free time matters. Constant scrolling weakens attention. Instant entertainment reduces tolerance for depth. Cal Newport suggests something radical. Let your mind be alone sometimes. Walk without headphones. Wait without checking. Sit without stimulation. This isn't discipline. It's restoration. Deep work isn't about becoming a machine. It's about becoming present. When attention is scattered, life feels rushed. When attention is focused, life feels fuller. Deep work reconnects you with your thoughts, your abilities, your sense of progress. If you commit to depth, even imperfectly, your relationship with work will change. Not overnight, not dramatically, but steadily. And steady change lasts.
Deep work doesn't only ask you to focus more. It asks you to choose more carefully. Because attention is limited, and every yes quietly hides a no. Cal Newport points out something we rarely question. Most shallow work enters our life not because it matters, but because we don't resist it. Another meeting, another request, another quick thing. Each one feels small. Together, they consume your days. Shallow work expands to fill all available time, not because it deserves to, but because depth doesn't defend itself. Saying no feels uncomfortable, especially for students and professionals trying to grow. But Cal Newport reframes it. You're not saying no to people. You're saying yes to your future. Every time you protect time for deep work, you invest in skill. Skills create options. Options create freedom. Shallow work creates dependence. When depth becomes a priority, decisions become simpler. You stop asking, will this make me look busy? You start asking, will this matter in 5 years? This question filters noise naturally. Here's a quiet truth. Doing less, deeply, often produces more value than doing everything lightly. Deep work compresses effort. What takes weeks distracted can take days focused. This is why focused people seem to move faster. They're not rushing. They're not stopping. Cal Newport introduces a powerful idea.
Work should end intentionally, not fade out into endless checking, not leak into the night. A clear shutdown ritual tells your brain, work is done. This allows true rest, and true rest makes deep work possible again tomorrow. Burnout isn't caused by hard work, it's caused by never stopping. Deep work demands energy. Energy requires recovery. Walking, sleep, unstructured time. These aren't distractions, they're fuel. A rested mind goes deeper than a tired one. People fear deep work will trap them, that structure will feel rigid. Cal Newport shows the opposite. Depth creates freedom. When you do meaningful work efficiently, you reclaim time. Less stress, less guilt, more presence. Focus doesn't shrink your life, it expands it. There is something deeply human here. We feel most alive when we push ourselves fully into something that matters. Deep work gives you that feeling again, not through excitement, but through commitment. At this point in the story, something shifts. Deep work is no longer a technique. It becomes a philosophy, a way of choosing how to live in a world pulling you in every direction. Something quiet happens when deep work becomes part of your life. Not immediately, not loudly, but steadily, you begin to feel different. Most confidence today is fragile. It depends on feedback, likes, praise, recognition. Deep work builds a different kind of confidence. The kind that comes from knowing you can sit with a hard problem and not run away. The kind that comes from finishing something meaningful without anyone watching. This confidence is calm. It doesn't compete. It doesn't rush. It simply knows. Cal Newport explains that humans are wired to find meaning through craft. When you improve a skill deeply, you don't just get better at work. You reshape your identity. You stop saying, I try. You start saying, this is what I do. Deep work turns effort into self-respect. Many people achieve visible success and still feel unsatisfied. Titles, money, recognition, but something feels missing. Cal Newport suggests a reason. Without depth, success lacks substance. It feels borrowed, temporary, unstable. Deep work roots success inside you. It becomes part of who you are. Every time you choose deep work, you send yourself a message. I trust myself with hard things. This trust grows. You stop needing constant stimulation. You stop fearing silence. You stop escaping effort. And slowly, your relationship with discomfort changes. It becomes a doorway, not a threat. Deep work creates a rare feeling, satisfaction. Not excitement, not dopamine, a deeper calm. The kind you feel after understanding something difficult, building something real, learning something meaningful. This satisfaction doesn't fade quickly. It stays. Where your attention goes, your thoughts follow. Where your thoughts go, your emotions follow. Deep work trains attention, and attention shapes your inner life. Less anxiety, less mental noise, more clarity. This is not therapy, it's presence. In a world where everything pulls you away, deep work teaches you to stay, with a task, with a thought, with yourself. This ability spills into life. Conversations deepen, decisions slow down, reactions soften. Focus becomes character. By now, success looks different. Not busyness, not speed, not noise, but depth, growth, meaning. Cal Newport doesn't promise an easy life. He offers a deliberate one. At this point in the journey, you see two paths clearly. One path stays noisy, busy, fragmented. The other is quieter, slower, but powerful. Deep work doesn't force you. It invites you. By now, deep work no longer feels like an idea. It feels like a mirror. Cal Newport never asks you to become extreme. He asks you to become intentional. Because whether you choose or not, your attention is being spent every day. The question is simple, but uncomfortable. Are you spending it on what truly matters? We often think distraction is harmless, just small moments, just little breaks. But small moments shape habits. Habits shape character. Character shapes life. A distracted life feels rushed, fragmented, always slightly behind. A focused life feels grounded, purposeful, quietly strong. Deep work is not about doing more work. It's about choosing what deserves your life energy. Choosing depth means choosing a different rhythm. It means not replying instantly, not consuming endlessly, not mistaking noise for importance. This can feel lonely at first, because the world celebrates visibility, not value. But over time, something changes. People notice the results. They feel the presence. They respect the clarity. Depth speaks for itself.
Deep work rewards patience. Not tomorrow, not next week, but slowly, in ways that last. Skills deepen, confidence stabilizes, work becomes meaningful, and perhaps most importantly, you begin to trust yourself again. To sit with difficulty, to grow without chaos, to live without constant escape. Cal Newport's deepest message is quiet. Focus is not only a professional skill, it's a life skill. The ability to be present with what you choose, with your work, with people, with your own thoughts. Deep work is how you reclaim your mind in a world competing for it. Imagine looking back years from now, not at how busy you were, not at how fast you applied, but at what you built, what you learned, who you became. That future is shaped by what you focus on today. If this story stayed with you, if it made you pause even once, then something has already shifted. This channel isn't about books alone. It's about the quiet ideas that slowly change how you live. And there are many more journeys like this ahead. Stories that don't rush you, but stay with you. When you're ready for the next one, you'll know where to find it. Book Nexus Hub, where depth still matters.